We're at the local swimming pool about to do life saving as our assessment. Candidate number 2, please tell us what the D stands for in life saving.
D is for danger. You have to move the person from any danger like fire or electrical things.
Thank you very much. Candidate number 2, what does the R stand for?
It's for response. You have to tell if the person is unconscious or conscious.
Thank you very much. Candidate number 3, please tell us about A.
A is for airway. You have to tell if there's any obstructions in the airway.
Thank you. And what does the B stand for?
B is for breathing. You have to check if the person is breathing.
By doing what?
By using look, listen and feel, you have to tell.
Thank you. Candidate number 2, what does the C stand for?
C is for circulation. You have to tell if the blood is circulating.
And where do we check for that?
On the carotid pulse or the radial pulse.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2 will now demonstrate CPR for life saving.
So first you check if the person is near to any danger and then you move them away. Then you check for response. You tap the right shoulder. Sorry, you okay? Then you call for help. Then you check for airway. You do the head tilt chin lift to open up the airway. You check if there's anything obstructing the airway, and then you do a finger sweep to remove or see if there's anything. Then you do the look, listen and feel. You look for chest rise for the breathing. You look for chest rise. You listen for the breathing, or you try to feel the breathing. Then if there's no breathing, you check for circulation on the carotid pulse or the radial pulse. If there's no circulation and there's no breathing, then you have to start with CPR. Okay. So first, you have to close the nostrils to open up the airway fully, and then you have to do 2 ventilations. Then you have to stand perpendicular to the body and then to do 15 compressions.
There's still no breathing. Carry on.
Then you have to do it again, 2 ventilations and 15 compressions. Then you do the secondary survey to check if there's any injuries on the person. So you check at the back, then the front, to the toes, until the toes. And then if the person is fine, you put them in a recovery position, just like this.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2 will now demonstrate how to put the person in the recovery position. Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2, how does someone recognize a person in difficulty?
If somebody is panicked in the water and calling for help, or if they're unconscious and floating in the water, or if they might be going under a couple of times and look like they don't have control.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2, how do you approach a casualty in danger without endangering your own life?
Well, you first make sure you use the best method of entering the water if it's unknown water and you don't know the depth. You make sure you keep your distance from the person, and you make sure you have a flotation device on you to hand the person.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2, when will you use a cross-chest toe?
It's a good method if the person is injured to have a firm grip on them because they're against you, and when it's in choppy water and you want to keep them in control.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2, when will you use an extended reach?
When the person I'm rescuing is able to hold on to a flotation device so I can stay out of their reach, so I can ensure my safety.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2. How do you treat a patient suffering from shock or hypothermia?
You quickly remove their wet clothes. You try to get a hold on any dry item like a blanket, jacket, towel, anything that's dry. And if you don't have any item like that, you wrap yourself around them, giving them your body heat.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2. When will you use a chin, head, toe?
If the person is unconscious, is the best method, and you want to keep their head above the water.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2 will demonstrate using an external device to get someone from outside of the pool.
Don't panic.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2. When will you use a straddle jump to enter the water?
In rough weather, in unknown water, and you want to keep the person in full view.
Thank you very much. And a shallow dive?
You'll use that when you don't know how deep the water is and you want to get to the person quick because they're probably unconscious.
And a slide?
You want to check how deep the water is before rescuing the person.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2 will now demonstrate the straddle jump. Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2 will now demonstrate the shallow dive. Candidate number 2 will now demonstrate the slide entry into the water. Thank you very much, candidate number 2.
You're welcome.
Candidate number 2 will demonstrate floating by using clothing. Thank you very much, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2 is demonstrating using a stirrup grip to assist the patient out of the water.
Please don't panic. I'll get you to the side and out of the water in no time. Please put your hand on me. Yes. And the other, I'm going to put there.
Patient is assisting.
So I'm going to cup my hands and then you're going to put your foot on it and then you can push to your out. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Candidate number 2 will now use a flotation device to rescue the swimmer.
Please don't panic. I'm coming. Please hold on to the other side. Yeah.
Candidate number 2 will demonstrate a shallow dive with a chin, head, toe. Thank you very much. Number 2 is going to demonstrate a straddle jump with a head chin toe rescue. Thank you, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2 will use a straddle jump to gain entry into the water with a cross chest toe.
I'll get to this side.
Thank you, candidate number 2. Candidate number 2, please explain any 3 safety measures someone can take within the vicinity of a swimming pool.
You make sure nobody is running around the corners of the swimming pool because they might be slippery. You make sure there isn't any kids playing and jumping on each other's backs, or if there's anybody who wants to dive while there's a lot of people in the swimming pool.
Thank you very much, candidate number 2.
Is that